Hey there everyone, it's GG Sober Sun, and it's the calm after the storm basically. We had the Blue Angels return today and do an air show out over the Gulf, and the line from closer to town was quite long. almost out to the Gulf Island seashore before there wasn't a queue. Actually, I think it did. The go home queue of cars came all the way out to the Gulf Islands National Seashore from the causeway. So there you have it. July 8th. AA members will tell you that they can look back and clearly see that they were out of control long before they finally admitted it. Every one of us has gone through that stage when we wouldn't admit that we were alcoholic. It takes a lot of punishment to convince us, but one thing is certain: we all know from actual punishment, we all know from actual experience that when it comes to dishing out punishment, John Barleycorn has no equal. Have I any reservations as to my status as an alcoholic? And that makes me think of one day we had a newcomer meeting, because there was a guy in the rooms, and he looked like a street thug, and it just got me thinking about these stories that I've heard, because I didn't grow up in the hood. I had a very violent childhood, though, both at home and on the streets and at school and whatnot. But it made me think of those stories about like initiations in street gangs and how they just knock the crap out of them, And then, I referenced that, it's like when we don't need to beat the shit out of you when you come into AA, because alcohol's already done that. You're already initiated, and some people haven't been beaten enough, and they have to go back out and get more of an ass kicking before they come in. They think they can cheat the game, and I think early on, even in high school, I thought the whole point of alcohol was to get effed up. The whole point. Not just to relax and chill out, but to get off my face and out of my head drunk. It wasn't about socializing. Yes, there was a social aspect to it, but the socializing was everybody was getting effed up. Getting blotto as fast as you can, kind of thing. Or at least that's the way I saw it. Right? Other people might have been like, dang, that dude's over the top. And so, and I think I knew I was alcoholic. I knew I was powerless over alcohol. Although it might have teetered on what I just said about, well, yeah, that's the point of alcohol, is to get messed up and to lose control and forget. I guess there's a little bit of that as well, but I just didn't think my life was unmanageable enough. I knew it was unmanageable, but I wasn't done trying to manage it, and that kept me out of the rooms quite a while, I suppose. Meditation for the day. There is a force for good in the world, and when you are cooperating with that force for good, good things happen to you. You have free will, the choice to be on the side of right or on the side of wrong. This force for good we call God's will. God has a purpose for the world, and He has a purpose for your life. He wants you to bring all your desires into oneness with His desires. He can only work through people. I disagree with that. If you try to make God's will your will, you will be guided by Him. You will be in the stream of goodness, carried along by everything that is right. You will be on God's side. And going back to this, God has a purpose. You have free will, the choice to be on the side of right or on the side of wrong. If you are cooperating with that force for good, good things will happen to you. And it's really important to point out that this, I don't believe he's talking about kind of a karma type thing. My Name is Earl, that show, you know, him thinking, oh no, I've done so much crap in the world, I need to balance it out by doing nothing but good. And, you know, that's not what this is about. It is about that when I start aiming up, after I've done the old chin up thing, and I start aiming up, God is so, it's like, attaboy, keep going, you know? I see good things in the world, and really it is about what you focus on as well. Like the mind and the eye, there are more neurons going from the brain to the eye than from the eye to the brain. Just think about that. That's a recent discovery, and I wish I could quote the study but I know Andrew Huberman, Dr. Andrew Huberman talks about it. He's a ophthalmologist and neuroscientist who spoke of this. And now the eyes are part of the brain, an extension of the brain, basically, is what they're discovering. So, at any rate, like, there are certain things that your eyes don't see. They see, but your brain doesn't register. It's like everybody can see the side of their nose if they're looking straight ahead. Close one eye, look straight ahead, and see if you can't see your nose out of your periphery. But your brain blocks it out. Both eyes can see it, but your brain blocks it out. So you have perfect panoramic vision. So think about that in terms of our other perceptions of reality. And so that comes back to when I choose to look for good. It's just like when I'm looking on the beach and my mind is full of garbage, all I see on the beach is trash. It's weird, man. And I see that all the time. But when I'm open to wonderful things and goodness, I see things like sea turtles mating on the beach. I see, you know, whole, complete, perfect sand dollars, you know. I see wonderful stingrays darting through the water. It's amazing. And I'm surrounded by this stuff, you know. But if I'm up in my own head, like I said, all I'm seeing is flotsam trash washed up on the beach. Now, some days are worse than others in terms of actual trash washing up on the beach. Sometimes we get a storm or a blow, some kind of blow in the Gulf, or sometimes I wonder even if you know, there's a rogue cruise ship out there that jettisons their trash and it just happens to wash up at a certain time. You know, you never can tell. However, the principle is still there. When I focus on the wonderful stuff, I see more of the wonderful stuff. It's kind of like you buy a new car, right? And suddenly you didn't realize how many of those exact same cars there are on the road, you know? And you can spot them from a mile away too, you know, that kind of thing. So when I choose to do good and seek good and conform my will to God's will, and as it says in the big book, page 85, I believe, it's the proper use of our will. So I will keep doing so. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may try to make God's will my will. Haha, that's weird. I pray that I may keep in the stream of goodness in the world. Two things that I have to object to there. Make God's will my will. Make my will God's will. Conform my will to God's will is what the book says. Not make God's will my will. And it doesn't say try. You know, these are thoughts which must go with us daily. How can I best serve thee? Thy will, not mine, be done. We can exercise our willpower along these lines all we wish. It is the proper use of the will. That's what the book says. I don't know, it's page 85, but somewhere around there. But, or maybe nowhere. I know it's in the first 164 pages. So look it up. And look up, aim up, and rise up, y'all. Love you. Keep coming back. It works when you work it.